We are counting down the top 30 Warrant songs.
I was hoping I'd get that one, but I mean, I had 24 chances or a few chances before that to get
Yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
Ooh, right on time. I mean, that shit is
yeah,
so like sugary sweet.
a
Got some.
pussy ballad that I didn't pick.
Yeah,
Nice.
you got the majority of them. I can tell
I
you
did.
that.
You guys are fantastic. Keep it up, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rock Resurgence Radio. My name is Chad, the host.
And I'm your co-host, Bergy.
Hey, you might see an extra face on there. We got a good buddy, Patrick, who has been on the hair metal guru
Yep.
quite a few times. So
Quite a
you
few
probably
times.
you probably recognize him from there, and of course you know this guy. But we're gonna throw it over to Patrick, let him introduce himself and talk about what he's got going on.
Sure, I'm Patrick. I'm live in Vermont, and I'm the hair metal guru sometimes. And I love these guys. Rock Resurgence is a great show. I love the new Hump Day headlines. That's a great or Hump Day headbangers, which is super cool. I'm just jazzed to be here. You can follow me on X at Cool as Ice 232, and I'm writing a book too about Warrant and Janie Lane from like the period of '92 to Janie's death. That's a great story. It needs to be
Can't wait.
told, and I'll probably be back on when that comes out. So
Yeah, super excited about that. I know we talked a little bit about it. You know, we won't go into detail, but yeah, it sounds super cool. I can't wait.
Yeah, ditto.
But anyways, today's show we are counting down the top 30 Warrant songs. And I'm gonna let Chris tell you how we did it.
Yeah, we did a top 30 draft, just kind of like if you've seen our episode on, we did an AC/DC top 50. We did the Kiss Army, if Kiss Army held a draft. We did top 40 with Hair Metal Guru, and I can't remember who else we had on that one. But anyway,
Yep.
we did the same kind of thing. I think we did mess up just a little bit when we did this as a snake draft. If you're familiar with fantasy football, if you got the first pick, in a 10-man fantasy league, you don't get to pick again for quite a while
Right.
because you pick 1 through 10, and then 10 starts off the second round and goes back down to 1. We probably shouldn't have did it that way with just the three of us because there is a little hiccup in the middle of the draft where
I think
somebody
I screwed up.
picked out of order. So
But
our
but
guest,
it's all fun and games.
It's all
yeah,
fun and games. Who gives a shit,
and we
right?
got 30 great songs to talk about. So
I think you could have made it 50. I mean, Janie was such a tremendous songwriter, and that band just was so good that, even the bad song or the songs that aren't my favorite, because I refuse to say they really have any bad ones other than maybe Ford's, Lincoln's, Mercury's, or whatever
yeah,
that one was, the shitty bonus track on Dog Eat Dog. But um, there's moments in all of those songs that are just lyrical genius.
It is. Yeah, and it's well, and Chris and I, we've done a couple episodes on Warrant, Guru's done them and whatever. And I just say, I mean, even from the first album to the second album, the writing got better, and then
Hmm.
it got better, and then it got. I mean, he just is so good.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just unreal. So I mean, just forewarn you, a lot of my picks, I'm just gonna read some of the lyrics off for you because they're just amazing, and you should hear them. So
Oh, it's powerful. And I think that was the success of Janie was that people, everyday people, because that's what he was. He was an everyday person. Everybody can relate to his lyrics because we've all had our hearts broken.
mm,
We've all, loved, and we've all been through a lot of the things those guys went through. So
yeah,
very
it's
relatable.
exactly. I couldn't have said it better. Yep.
yeah. That's a good point you make. Relatable, and when we get to my first pick, or actually my last pick, because we're going to count these down from number 30 all the way to 1. I got some more to say about that, but so let's kick
Let's
this
do it.
off. So we started it out with Patrick, since is our guest. We gave him the first pick. So, but because we screwed up a little bit in the middle, he gets to pick or count down 30 and 29 are both his picks, and then at the very end, he's going to pick our number 1 song.
Awesome.
So what do you got at number 30?
Uh, a song that I was surprised didn't go earlier. I love this song dearly. I have so many memories of it. It is the final track on Dog Eat Dog, Sad Teresa. I adore that song. I don't know anybody that when it's playing on that knows it when it's playing isn't humming it along or singing the chorus or some piece of it. But you know what's amazing, guys, about that song is when you close your eyes, you can just envision him singing that or who he was singing it to, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
out on your front porch swing, like such a storyteller. Great song.
Yeah,
great.
and I love that song too, and I thought about picking it, and I don't know, it's just like when we do this draft with other people too. There's always the, like you say, the fuck you moments where you took my pick, and I'm all thinking about the songs that I want to make sure I get to talk about this one and this one. I got to have
Right.
this one in my countdown, and this one just kind of kept going and going, and I'm glad it got picked because I love that song too.
Yeah,
Love it.
it is a very, very good song, and I don't know, on that album though, it is, I mean that album, I mean every song on it could very well be a single. Yeah, probably,
Exactly.
except for Inside Out, maybe that wouldn't have been a single. I don't know.
Right.
It was a single though, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it
It,
was it
but
was
but it's just so out
odd
of
one.
the norm for them.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll be honest. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan. I was there when they played it on the Cherry Pie tour in Fargo, North Dakota. They played that song, from coming
Oh,
up.
Inside Out?
Yeah, they played that
Yeah.
song live, and I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that?" I mean,
It's almost a thrash song.
yeah, it so surprised me. But anyways, but on that album, Sad Teresa, I mean, for me, it's probably 8, 9, 10 down there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't. It was in the back of my mind, but I don't care. It's Warren. I love all their songs.
Yeah.
So I mean, this freaking list is crazy good.
Yeah.
So okay,
Yeah.
we
Like
got
you.
number 30 out of the way.
Yep. And Patrick gets to pick again at
He's
number
got he's
29.
got number.
Coming in at next is another what Chad just said about Sad Teresa on Dog Eat Dog is for me what this song is on Ultraphobic. I picked Sum of One. I love that song. I think it's a brilliant song again. I'll always remember when I bought the Ultraphobic record, and it was my junior year of high school when it came out. I got it on release day. I ran home. Actually, my friend's mom had to pick it up during the day for us while we were at school, and then when we got out of school, we got it. And I remember running home with it, ripping it open, and going through song by song because reading in Metal Edge, uh, the month before was the track by track. So, you're reading about every song before you even heard them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I remember Sum of One and thinking, this is going to be great. And hearing it and being a little taken back because obviously it was such a different sounding record. I don't know a lot of people that heard Ultraphobic the first time and went, well, this is brilliant. It took some time. But man, if you sat with that record for a few days, you were hooked. And Sum of One was one of the very first songs that I was just really like playing it over and over and over and going, man, this song is fantastic. So I
yeah,
picked Sum of One.
Great
good,
pick.
good pick. I'm one of those people that I can't say on the first or second, but by the third listen on that album, I was just like, "Holy shit, this is different, but it is so good."
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of that album, and
I'm
I
a
know a lot of people didn't like it, and I thought it was freaking amazing.
I
Yeah.
thought it was phenomenal. There's a podcast I listen to all the time called the Decibel Geek podcast,
Yeah,
and they did an episode a couple months ago, or maybe about a year ago. It was like the best and worst of Warrant, and they talked about that Dog Eat Dog or Ultraphobic record, and they said it the best way I've ever heard possible. They said in an era when grunge was so big and every band was putting out records trying to sound grunge all of a sudden, he goes, the very first time I heard Ultraphobic, I went, "Oh my God, they've done it. Like they've done it and they're going to be very successful with it." And I think when you listen to that record, it's just phenomenal. It really is. They really did do it, you know.
Yeah. It,
They
it
pulled it off.
it's a fantastic album.
Yeah,
Cool,
I
cool,
never
cool.
gave it as much of a chance, and I think I think we did like ranking Warrant's first 5 albums, and I think
With Guru, yeah.
this was probably at my number 4 out of the 5, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
think it
and
was
and,
3 for me, but I mean, those first 2 albums are so good that,
and there was a
well, I
time
mean, the second and third album are so good. Fuck, they're all good. What am I saying
Yeah.
about?
when Belly to Belly came out, I think I listened to that way more than Ultraphobic. But the you made a point, Patrick, about in '94. You know, you were in high school,
Yeah.
and that's when a lot of like my musical tastes were formed.
Hmm.
But at '94, I was 5 years out of high school.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I still loved all my hair metal music and all the music that I grew up on, and I was clamoring for more stuff from them. So didn't I get big into this album? I don't know. I can't say. But
Yeah.
I do have something off this album coming up.
There's no time like the present.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing about it, music, is as long as we're still breathing and whatever, we can put it in and listen to it again and again and again. So
Absolutely true.
Yep. And I've said it a million times on this show, and that's the part of the fun part about doing this is I get to go back and listen to some of these things that I haven't listened to in a long time. Because like we were talking about earlier, Patrick, I've moved into the newer stuff also,
Yeah.
so I don't spend as much time on listening to this stuff. But doing this show, I'm going back and I'm listening to it. Like for example, when we did the LA Guns episode, I hadn't listened to the first and second album for a long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Aerosmith one we did, that hasn't come out yet, but
No.
but I go back and I listen to them and I'm like, holy shit! And I remember how good these things were. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Memory lane.
Exactly. What'd you guys pick next?
Okay, number 28. That is me, and I picked "Bed of Roses" off of Cherry Pie. Um, this album, I think when we did our rankings, I think this one landed number 1 for me. Simply, I mean, Dog Eat
album.
Dog is, I mean, everybody says that's their best album, and it's really close between those two. Um, but my favorite Warrant song, which will be, by the way, I think we all got our favorite Warrant song.
We
Awesome.
did.
Because I figured yours was
Yeah.
the slow one. Yep. So I think we all got our favorite. So it worked out well.
They're all my favorites.
I know
love
they
them.
are. I mean, we're gonna say that 100 times during this thing. But anyways, "Bed of Roses," great song. Like I said, I want to just read some of the lyrics just because I just love the way he writes. Verse 1: "On a dead end street in a dead end town, there's a motel that I call home. Just a few small hopes and a few small dreams are all the place is resting on. Desire lives 2 doors down.
Desiree.
Desiree, I'm sorry. She's been there way too long. Oh yeah. Sometimes when she's feeling down, I hope she hears this song."
Yeah.
And then it just kicks into the verse "On a Bed of Roses." And his fucking writing is so good. And it was fun doing this episode because I got to go and I really looked into the lyrics because I mean I can sing along with them,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
but I just to see them on paper is different.
There is that's a great point, Chad, is that when you sing along with them in the car or whatever's happening in the workday and you hear it and you're like, da, da, da. It's a lot different when you're looking at it on paper because they take on a whole new meaning.
Exactly. The meaning becomes so much clearer when you see it on paper. Like I'm singing along, it's just words.
Right.
But when you put it on a piece of paper, it's a story.
Right.
So I really enjoy doing that. And going back to earlier when we talked about, before computers and all that shit, we put a lot of work into music.
oh God.
We scrimped and scraped for it. We bought it. We read every single note in the liner.
Yeah.
We knew all the words. If we didn't know the words, we'd sit there and listen to it and pause the tape,
I
write
used
it
to do
down.
that.
Then we'd go on to the next part and write it down. And, there was a lot more work. So we got very intimate with our music compared to now. Everything's so instant
Now you just lose
gratification.
it. Yeah.
I mean, I know when I hear a good song and I know when I hear like a hit, but I don't put the work into it. So
Yeah.
I don't fall in love with it like I did
Everything's right there.
music
Like
back.
the lyrics are scrolling on Apple Music or whatever.
Exactly. So
Like you were saying, back in the day, I can remember, reading liner notes, and I'd say probably 10% of liner notes had all the lyrics, which I always thought was great. I always loved it when they had all the lyrics. But I can remember certain albums that I wanted to know all the lyrics, so I did the same thing. Listen to a little bit. Oh, what did he say? I'm going to rewind it there and
Yeah.
hear it again, and I'm going to write it down. And I bet you I got 90% of the lyrics right, but there's always a few that, misheard lyrics. I'm sure there's a whole episode on misheard lyrics would be.
Right there. That's a great episode.
Yeah.
I got a really weird thing to bring up. Does anybody else remember the smell of the cassettes, the clear ones when they came
Yeah.
out? They had a different little smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good smell. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I just
took
like
your
if they made a
fingernail and
fucking
opened
air freshener out of that smell,
Candle.
I would
Yeah.
buy it. Or a candle, I would buy it.
Or CD book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That is weird.
I know that smell.
Yeah.
Yep. I know you guys do because like you'd open it up and you just go, smells
Yeah.
different, smells good. And then, but whatever. I just wondered if anybody else did
yeah.
that because I certainly did. So anyways, that was 28 Bed of Roses. Number 27 and 26 are Chris. Let's go.
I get to pick two in a row. That's right. So
Good,
my 27 is from Dog Eat Dog, and it's another ballad, Let It Rain. I know Guru always says he loves the pussy ballads. Well, I kind of love the pussy ballads too. So you're going to see a few of those on my list, at least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. But so I got to tell a quick story, but I want to,
Rewind.
yeah, well, I want to add on to what you were saying about the reading the lyrics on paper. While you were talking about that, I was thinking about this. There's some really great songs with some nonsense lyrics that you sing along to them and you see them on paper. They're like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Even some of the Aerosmith lyrics we were talking about, like, but when you see these on paper, it's a poem or a story. Like, I think that shows what a good songwriter that Janie Lane was.
Sure.
It's funny you say that. They say, I was reading Wikipedia and I think one of the things was he's oh fuck, I'm gonna screw it up. So you just keep talking. And I'm gonna find what I was gonna say.
So Let It Rain, ballad off of Dog Eat Dog. I've said this at least in 1 or 2 other episodes, but the ballad Heaven was always mine and my wife's songs. And I met her in 1989 when Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinkin' Rich was new and Heaven was on the charts. But her and I didn't get married in 89 or 90 or 91. Matter of fact, we didn't get married till 2011. I better say that right in case she watches this.
Happened to be here. He died.
But yeah, exactly. And we got married just about a month before Janie Lane passed away. But this song reminds me of the time. So there was a time period where we were not together, a very long time period where we were not together. But the lyrics in this song remind me of the time. Like, I'll just read the first verse real quick. I can't get up the nerve to call you, but I want to call so bad. To find out who's holding on to the most beautiful thing I ever had. Babe, I guess I never really took the time to show how much I care. Let it rain. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps.
I kind of got goosies there too.
Hearing the lyrics, because the song's just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
The melody's great, and the lyrics are, it like further on down. The pillow is a poor substitute. I always thought that was a great lyric. For your body next to me, I reach to pull you closer, and remember you're not there.
The guitar solo in that song is also among probably the most beautiful guitar solos that Joey Allen did on that
Yeah.
record. It is just brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They got a lot of good stuff. I mean, okay. I think I know what I was trying to say here.
Okay.
What they were talking about, and I can't find it in here, but they said Janie Lane is the modern day James Taylor. Is I think who
You
they
know, that's not the first time I've heard that. And it's very accurate in my book.
and I'm not a I'm not a James Taylor guy. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. I know who he is, and I know he has written a lot of very good songs. So obviously he's a good songwriter. But yeah, I was reading that and I was like, oh yeah, it's a good way to put it, I guess, because I know that James Taylor is well known for his songwriting.
Yeah.
So
Relatable songs. You
yep.
know? If you write relatable songs, you're gonna do just fine.
Yeah, and this one I picked really relates to me. Like it
For
really
sure.
spoke to me back in so this came out in 94, and that was I'd just gotten out of the Navy in 92. You know, I was looking to get back together with my wife, and it didn't happen at that time. It was many,
Mhm.
many, many years later. That's a whole nother episode right there. But
Well,
anyway,
Sure.
I'm curious how this next one.
yeah. So the next one,
It's gonna take quite a jump.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
gonna take a left turn,
So
Clyde,
yeah, now we go
or
from
right turn, Clyde.
my pussy ballad at number 27 to my number 26 is the closing song, right on Dog Eat Dog.
Nope, it's the song before the closing song.
Oh shit.
Closing song is Sad Teresa.
Oh yes, 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 yeah. So it's so funny that it goes from this and then into Sad Teresa.
I know.
Right.
Yeah,
A roller
Inside Out.
coaster of emotion.
Yeah, Inside Out is the song that I picked, and Chad mentioned this already, but I think it might even been the opening song at that show you went to. Did they open the concert with Inside Out? I feel like they did
I can't remember. I
on
was
the
drunk.
Blood
They
Sweat.
did open the second half of the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could have been then. Gosh, you know a lot about these guys. Obviously,
incredible.
Yeah, you wrote a book or writing a book, but
Yeah.
Inside Out. So I found this thing on YouTube too, where it was a audio tape called the Dog Eat Dog Sessions or something.
Yes, with Ton Mastery. Yes.
Yes,
From
yes.
KNAC. Yeah.
Just listened to it, I think yesterday, and I think I'm trying to remember what Janie's words were exactly about the song, but he said that the song speaks for itself or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But
Some
yeah,
interesting things about that song too is there's in the liner notes of Dog Eat Dog, it refers to also singing on this was the Moron Fish and Tabernacle Choir, which was comprised of all the people working in the studio that day. So the song was written, but didn't necessarily have all of its lyrics when it was recorded. And Michael Wagner, who was the producer of Dog Eat Dog, and Janie went out to a bar to get shitty on a Friday night. And, as the bar was closing down, Michael Wagner looked at Janie and said, "We really got to finish that song tomorrow." And Janie said, "Well, hold on a second." And he asked the bartender, because it was them, and the bartender at that point, they were just rip-roaring drunk at that point. And he asked the bartender for a pen and he scrawled down the lyrics and said, "I'm ready to go. Let's go right now." And they literally went back to the studio in the middle of the night, and he did a couple takes with what he'd written on the napkin, and that was that song.
That's incredible.
yeah,
Isn't it? Because when you think about it, you would think that took a long time to make, but Janie, that's the brilliance of Janie Lane right there.
yeah. It's very frenetic, like fast-paced song, and it just kind of rips through in a real. I don't know how long the song is, but I can't imagine it's very long, 3 minutes, and it's
Yeah.
Cloud of Dust.
Cloud of Dust. That's right, Bergy. Cloud of
Yeah.
Dust.
I love it. I love the song. It was good enough to make what was that, 26 for us?
26.
28, 27? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that was another thing they talked about that on that interview that you were talking about, the
Tom
Moron
Mastery? Yeah.
Fish and Tackle Choir.
Yes.
I think it was called. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
That's
kind of a
great.
play on words with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, but
Right.
anyway,
Funny, funny.
now we are on to number 25 with Chad.
Number 25 for me is Hollywood. So far, so good. That is off the Dog Eat Dog. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
For some reason, Cherry Pie Vision popped in my head. I'm like, no.
Song number 8.
I feel
Yep.
like it's the first song on the second side of the cassette, or maybe it's the last song on
The
the
last song on the first side. Yep.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. Super catchy song. Like, this wasn't a single, correct?
Correct.
This could have been a single very, very easily because it is so stinking catchy.
Yep.
I just love it. I mean, we're gonna hear this 100 million times. I mean, everything they write, everything he wrote, just is poetry, and it's just
The first time I listened to this album, this was probably my favorite song. The first listen through. And
Yeah.
this was one of
'Cause
the
it's
FU
super.
moments. I was hoping I'd get that one, but I mean, I had 24 chances or a few chances for that to get
Yeah,
it. So
yeah,
The beauty of the draft, it'll be there later, and then it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm not gonna read lyrics every time. But check out the lyrics; they're great. I mean, they're all good.
Are you aware of the controversy with this song?
No,
Does the guitar, the basic guitar riff in it ring familiar to you? The bow down 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 bow bow down down bow 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 bow. Jane's addiction. Jane says.
oh yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
way.
Yes, there was
yeah, yeah.
Joey Allen in an interview a couple of years ago was saying that when they recorded that, he kept playing it and looking over at everybody going, "Are we going to get sued? Because this is basically Jane Says by Jane's Addiction." And
Yeah.
they didn't get sued.
I never put that, but I wasn't a big Jane's Addiction fan,
Yeah,
but I
Yeah.
definitely know that
I know
song. And
that
now that
song
you
too.
say
Yeah.
that, it's in my head. And yeah, totally sounds like that.
You said they didn't get sued, right?
They did not get sued, yes.
Well, they might now. It's our fault.
But Janie was apparently a quite a Jane's Addiction fan as well. I mean, they all those bands were around each other at those times. I mean, even though Jane's Addiction isn't a hair metal per se, they were in LA. And Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction is directly responsible for the 2008 reunion of Warrant with Janie Lane.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there just totally off fucking topic, but didn't Barry Farrell just attack
He did.
Guitar player or something?
Yeah.
Navarro?
Navarro, yeah.
Yeah, on stage. I think I don't know, I was looking at something music related and popped up and I seen it. And I was like, holy shit, he's going after him.
Yeah. What's that all about? Anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Drugs.
Exactly. So, anyways, that's my pick. Hollywood so far so good at
Great song.
25. Then we're
Dig it.
on to Patrick with 2 picks at 24 and 23. Let's go.
This is where Patrick starts to get pretty controversial in the draft because
All right.
I'll just say it right now that my favorite Warrant album is the consensus pick of most fans' least favorite Warrant album.
I know. I read this on X that you said that.
Oh, yeah?
I went, oh shit. He's the only one I know that has ever said this.
You went, well, this episode's going to go real interesting. Yeah, I love the Belly to Belly record. It's my favorite Warrant record. And, my reason for that is because when that record came out, we're coming off of Ultraphobic. And, I loved Ultraphobic so much. I thought this is going to be the next progression of Ultraphobic. And it was not. I don't think that and Ultraphobic are very alike. I think Belly to Belly is its own animal.
For sure.
And it definitely they recorded the Belly to Belly record in like 3 weeks time. Which is pretty quick. And just from Guru's interview with Bobby Borg, in which Bobby Borg talks a lot about how they just wrote those songs pretty quick. And obviously Janie's the kind of a contained unit. Janie Lane, he didn't operate like Steven Tyler did. Steven Tyler had to have Joe Perry, Jimmy Page had Robert Plant. Warrant didn't have that. Warrant had Janie. And so Janie would come and bring these songs in that he'd written on acoustic guitars, and then the band would warrantify them, like they'd become Warrant songs at that point. And
Right.
that was a pretty unique unit at that point because it was constantly evolving. And they had already gone from having James Kotak from Kingdom Come in the band with Rick Steyer to now it's a new drummer who also wrote songs. Jerry Dixon was writing songs. So I love the Belly to Belly record. And what are we at? 26?
No, 24.
24.
24. My 24 is Indian Giver. I think that song just wrecks live.
Yeah.
It has got a crunching riff. It starts out with that sitar that's like, got the Indian flavor to it, and you're kind of going, what is this gonna be? And if you just hold your breath for about 10 seconds, then you find yourself going like this because it's just rolling. I saw them on that tour. And holy shit, that song, all those Belly to Belly songs took on a whole new life live.
Yeah.
They were way heavier. They were great. The band was 100% into it with it. Anybody who's watching this video has heard the Belly to Belly record, and they've heard that song, and they either like it or they don't. And I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
There's a live version of it on their Warrant Live album.
Yeah, there is. And it smokes.
What year did that come out? Do you remember?
97.
Okay. I saw them at Rock in the Hills. They had a little festival here in Bottineau, North Dakota back, and I think it started in 90. Gosh, 90. Yeah, maybe sounds about right. I think it was 97 or 98 that Warrant played it.
They played it 3 times, I think.
Okay, yeah, but the first time that I saw them was there, I think, in that kind of mid-90s, well, probably late 90s. And I remember them playing that song, and I remember listening to the Belly to Belly album a lot, like leading up to that. I don't know why I do stuff like that, but when I'm about to go see a band,
absolutely.
Everybody,
nice refresh.
I listened to all their albums, of course, but that one was the newest, and I probably had it for maybe a year and listened to it 3 or 4 times through. But I just listened to the crap out of it, and I don't remember what song they opened with. But Janie just came flying onto the stage, just from the side of the stage, and just came flying out. And he had these goofy, like, yellow goggle things on him.
Yes.
And I feel like his hair was really short at that time. But they killed it. And when you talk about, this song live on that Warrant Live being really good, and the band, when they were playing it, they're getting really into it. I feel like most of the people, especially at this festival thing, you got, I don't know if it was the same year, but David Lee Roth plays there.
Oh.
Styx was probably there. But most people that go to these things are very casual fans of the band, I think. Like guys like you and that go to them are maybe more hardcore.
Yeah.
And so we know the whole catalog of a lot of the hair metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
But like my wife at the time or whoever's there, play Cherry Pie or play, they're not getting into the Indian Giver song.
Yeah.
They're not.
Danny used to beg people to check out the new stuff,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're going to play something. Please listen to it,
We remember him saying those things too.
Yep. And speaking of live, Warrant, I've seen them 3 or 4 times. I don't know. A couple times I was really smoking drunk. So
Yeah.
it's like seeing them. I remember it being good, and that's about all I remember.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, live bands besides Metallica, because Metallica is my number 1, Warrant is my favorite band live ever. And then that Aerosmith concert was right under that.
Yeah.
I mean, they just brought it every single night. Or every single time I seen them anyway.
Yeah.
And they were amazing. So Indian Giver, and I'll give you my thoughts on Belly to Belly. It definitely is probably my least favorite, but hearing Patrick talk about it passionately makes me want to listen to it again. So I am going to do that because, I mean, I'll be honest. Another thing I'll be honest about is after Janie passed away and anything after that, I don't think I could name you one song
Yeah.
because
I've given the Mason albums a fair shake. I mean, they're basically a different animal, you know.
yeah, I just
They're I don't, I'm not saying this to cut them down. So, people always who love those records go, oh, well, you just can't get past Janie. And it's like, it's not that I can't get past Janie, but those albums with Mason, they're fine, but his voice is so bluesy and thick and full, and it's beautiful. He's got a great voice,
he
but
does.
that's that's not what I liked about Warrant. And if that was just if they even if they called it a different thing, I probably wouldn't be into it because it just doesn't offer me anything.
Yeah.
There's some
Right.
good stuff on it. I'll give them that, but it's just not what I liked.
Right. The relatability in the songs, like we talked about, isn't there.
Right.
The songwriting isn't there. I've listened to some of it, but I just can't get myself to like it. I just
Right.
can't. I've tried,
Yeah.
but I can't. But like I said, it's forgettable to me. Where everything Janie did was completely rememberable.
Yeah, there's very few bands that have had multiple singers that, I mean, I could name them all on less than one hand for sure.
Right.
That I liked both versions of a lot,
Right.
you know.
Right.
It's like, can you name any songs off of the Jizzy Pearl LA Guns records?
No.
You know, is it bad?
No, there
No,
wasn't any.
but it's just not what I liked, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there is one. Is there one called like American Hardcore or something like that?
Oh, that's the one with Chris Von Dahl from Cherry Street on vocals. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I listened to a little bit of that and thought, what the?
You're talking about Pantera LA Guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what in the? Fuck?
I saw that album cover and I'm like, that's not even the same LA Guns. No,
No.
not even
There's a song, Chad, on that American Hardcore LA Guns record that came out after the Pantera Great Southern Trendkill record came out. And there is a direct ripoff of Drag the Waters on there. Complete
really?
riff, and everything is just and you're just going, when's he gonna start yelling Drag the Waters some more?
Yeah.
Because it just sounds like it.
That's crazy.
But yeah. So, and then the next one that I chose after that is also off Belly to Belly. Probably my second favorite song off Belly to Belly. I heard it live. It's on, like Bergy said, it's on the 86 to 97 or 86 to 97 record. Towards the end of the record, great intro to it with drums only, and then you hear the guitar get turned up, and then bam, it just kicks you right in the ass. It's called Vertigo, and it is such a motherfucker of a song. And live, it just had so much energy to it.
I think that's the song they came out to at that
Oh yeah,
in the hills.
Yeah,
Yep.
could be.
and that one I do like.
Yeah, Vertigo's killer song. So much energy in that song too. It's like a M80 exploding in your hand.
Well, it's like I said, he came off the side stage just like he was shot out of a cannon. And I think that was the song because that song is kind of like that. Like it just
Oh yeah, and the chorus to it too. Even before the go, even before that, the ooh right on time. I mean that shit is so like sugary sweet, and it's everything that when you think about Warrant and you think about Janie, I always say about Ultraphobic and Belly to Belly, if you like the first three records, you will find elements of that on those two records. You just have to listen to it enough and you will find things you like.
Yeah.
They're in there.
Noted.
Yep, I would agree.
Noted.
I will check it out again.
Homework.
It's it's like fucking Motley Crue Generation Swine. I can't do it.
Oh. I can't even with that record.
Yeah, but I mean, I know I like the Warrant one better than that one.
Yeah.
Because there are a few songs on that album that I do dig. And Vertigo's one, and that Letter to a Friend is another. Um, but as a whole, it doesn't hit me right. But I'm gonna give it another try. Thanks to
It
you.
didn't start off the best because the very first song, which I like it. I mean, I like every song on that record, but starting it off with such a downtrodden song like in the end we want it all, in the end we take the fall. And you know what?
Yeah, and the
It
way
wasn't, if they'd kicked it
so
off with something
different.
that was a little more upbeat, I think maybe more people would be willing to give that record a shot.
Yep, I agree. Anyways, we'll move on. Let's go. You were at 23. At 22, I got the pick, and I picked Chameleon off of Ultraphobic. And like we were talking earlier, I probably the third listen of this album, I just went, holy shit, this is really fucking good. And I couldn't, I'm from a small town. I would introduce music to people. I would try to anyway. And nobody was buying what I was selling with this
Yeah.
album. So I knew the general public probably wasn't going to like it. Um, but I don't think there's a bad song on it.
Yeah.
But that's just me. And Chameleon, the words, the verse one, I just like it. I like the very last line the most, and I'll just say that line. Put on a smile like it's makeup, yeah, to protect you from the truth. And I just thought, I was like, that is fucking great. I
Yeah.
just like that line, and it's great. Um, you better find out which road you're on. You can't change who you are by the colors you put on. It's about being fake and how this person's a chameleon. They're just putting on a front, and
Yeah.
it's a great, great song.
Yeah. I think when Patrick was talking about elements, this song has a lot of the elements of those first three records, and I think this is probably on that album to the casual Warrant fans. That's probably the most accessible song on the album.
Great point,
Good way to
Bergy.
put. Yep, very well
I
put.
love it. That's a good pick.
Thank you.
You know, Janie wrote songs and brought them on acoustic guitar to the band.
Right.
Imagine what that one sounds like, just acoustic. Be incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very, very much incredible.
and we talked about this on another episode too. Um, that home video that they did where
Mhm.
just before he's going on and he
Quality
picks
you
up
can
the
taste.
guitar.
Yeah.
Huh?
Quality you can taste. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a couple songs he just rattles off. I'm like, holy shit! Like he was a really good
Yeah,
guitar player. I mean,
Yeah.
himself, and just I just go. That's a song that didn't even get released, and it's fucking
Well,
awesome.
yeah, there's three of them. Two of them did. Well, two of them are available. One of them's not. You can find the first one, which was kind of like a little pop rock song called Pop Music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a demo of that one on YouTube. Then
Okay.
he also did the other one he did was Let It Rain. He did a very acoustic version of Let It Rain on that. And then the third one's Let's Not Fight Tonight. Can't find it
Oh,
anywhere.
yeah, that one is really cool too. Yeah,
That was a
but
beautiful song.
I know, and I just like everything he comes up with is just touching and meaningful, and you want to own it.
did they
For
ever go
sure.
on? You would know this, Patrick. MTV Unplugged.
Did they?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
They would have been great.
That would have
Yeah.
fucking killed.
There is, I will say this, on YouTube, in during the Belly to Belly tour, Janie, um, Danny Wagner, Rick Steyer went to South America, and I believe it's in Brazil. On YouTube is an entire acoustic concert with those three, and they play a ton of great stuff.
I think I
They do
saw
Stronger
some of
Now.
those.
They do a bunch of stuff that's just incredible, and it's professionally shot. It's a little, it's clearly gone from VHS to VHS to VHS to like 10th generation copy that's on there, but it sounds great, and you can and listen to it, and it's all acoustic, and it's fantastic.
So if you
So,
put in like
no,
one,
they weren't on MTV Unplugged, but you get that, you know.
Now to search that, would you put in Janie Lane Brazil or something?
I'd put in Warrant Brazil.
Warrant Brazil. Okay,
Find it.
cool. I swear I seen some of that.
Definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, because freaking YouTube's a rabbit hole, man. You click on one
Oh
thing,
God.
next thing you know, and oh my God,
Yeah, no
it's
doubt.
ridiculous. So 22 is Chameleon with me, and now we got Chris with 2 picks.
Yeah,
21 and 20.
21 and 20. So my song at 21 is another pussy ballad. It's their second ballad off of Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich. So I'm gonna just say this: we Dog Eat Dog. Well, maybe I'll save this to the end. The count from the albums. I think I was the only one that picked any songs from Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich. I could be,
I mean, you got pretty much all the good ones. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so the song I picked is "Sometimes She Cries" at 21. And I think they put this out, of course, to try to, Heaven was a big hit. This came out after Heaven, single wise, I should say. I think it was the 4th single from the album. And I'm sure they wanted it to reach another level like Heaven did, getting all the way up to number 2. This topped out at number 20 on the Hot 100. So I always remember the lyrics,
I love this lyric.
what's the word I'm looking for? The main character in the song is Mercy, right?
Yes.
Right? That's her name, Mercy.
Yep.
I Googled some lyrics, and in some of the lyrics, they say it's Missy. I'm like, no, that's not. That's incorrect.
No,
It's
no,
Mercy.
for sure.
But yeah, Mercy don't think she's pretty no more. Staring at the stars through her back screen door. She tries to make it all work out. No matter what she does, she's left standing in the middle of doubt.
Isn't that a great line?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole lyric, but I mean, standing in the middle of doubt.
Yeah.
Who says that?
Yeah, Janie
Janie
Lane
Lane
says
does it.
that. And
Yeah.
like you said, seeing it on paper, hearing it in a song, 2 different things.
It's incredible.
On that live record, they do that medley of the ballads
Yes.
where that's and when they do that, sometimes she cries in there. I mean, God, you're kind of like stop in your tracks and just you're forced to listen to it. That's the thing about that song. You kind of stop what you're doing when you hear it because
Mhm.
you're following the story. And
Yeah.
it's another example of Lane telling stories, Beautiful.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Okay. Number 20.
Yeah, so I always follow up a pussy ballad with a big time rocker like I
You
did
take a
last
left turn.
time.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So actually, so I think right after song comes on right after Sometimes She Cries on the album, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I got that. So, but anyway, the song I picked is So Damn Pretty, in parentheses, should be against the law. It's a fast paced tune. Kind of like it's not quite as hard as Inside Out by any
No.
means, but
No.
like I
No.
said, I picked the ballad last time and then Inside Out, this time the ballad. But actually, it was in reverse.
Yep.
So when we're counting them down, I always had to have a rocker before the ballad came out. But
Probably the heaviest song on Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich.
yeah, and I just
No.
No?
Down, boys.
It's heavier?
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know.
I would say I think this one's a lot more rockin' than Down Boys is.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
it's faster.
This was the opener when they played and they were opening for Motley. This is what they used to open the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I just the Down Boys riff just with the
Oh, it's a chugger. Yeah, I mean that one's a
Chugger,
chugger.
that's
Love it,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
I always loved this song. And I'm going to read lyrics again, but I got my act down, got it down tight, got a feeling tonight will be a good night. Gonna see a million girls, gonna grab one pretty, take her around the world. Come on and spread your wings. Come on and let me in. You know what really ain't dirty and not a sin. To have to hold, love to squeeze. Come on, be my baby. Get down on your knees. Oh yeah, pretty, pretty please. I need your love, need it bad. I mean, I could read the whole damn song and just reading it, I'm hearing it in my head.
Me too. Yep.
And
Take one pretty.
Such a kick-ass song.
get to the lyric or to the verse, and So damn, let's get down to the raw. So damn pretty. Should be against the law.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Great record. Great song.
Dang it. It is.
Love it.
It is really good. Hey, and I don't know if we'll get to it at some point here, so I just thought I'd ask, you're going to know this, Patrick, the whole hiring guitarists to play on the first record. What was the deal with that?
Flamer? So Beau Hill is the producer of the first two records and Ultraphobic. Okay. He also is responsible for a lot of the Rat albums. He
Mhm.
did the
Yep.
Winger albums, the first two Winger albums. He was married to Fiona. Do you know Fiona, who was
Oh, yeah. Singer.
Heart Like a Gun, I think was her big record, and she was on. She did a duet with Kip Winger.
Yep.
Your Sex and Me or something like that. So Beau Hill has Warrant in the studio, and even though Joey and Eric had been playing guitar for a long time, they were still very young. I think they were like 23, 22 around the time they cut that record. And he just didn't feel that the solos that they were putting down, he had a sound he was looking for. And he had worked with this Mike Slamer guy he had a relationship with him on previous records and in other studio settings. And he told them, he said, I just don't think the solos you guys have are cutting it. And why don't I bring this guy in? He'll play the solos here and there. Now, the debate that's gone on forever has been that they just didn't play any solos on any of the records, those first two records, and that's bullshit.
Okay.
Slamer played a majority of the solos, but there's pieces in there that are Eric and Joey playing. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube in which Joey specifically has come out and said, I played the first solo on this and this and this and this and this. They played more on Cherry Pie than they did on the first record. And then obviously they played everything on everything else. But that's basically in a nutshell the story there. And they've never said they did play all this stuff. So, there really shouldn't be so much controversy with it. They admitted it.
Didn't they put in the liner notes or something on one of the albums, like maybe Dog Eat Dog, where we played all the guitars or something?
Yeah, the record, Janie Lane dedicated the record to Joey Allen for being an incredibly underrated guitar player, and he played every solo on that album.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't super clear on it. I knew there was a guitarist that did some of the solos and stuff on it, and I just wanted to.
Yep.
You were the person that would know. So thank you for that, clearing
Oh,
it up.
absolutely.
Dropping that knowledge on us.
Dropping that knowledge. Yep.
Love it.
Rat-a-tat-tat,
Okay, we're into number 19 with me, and I picked a song off of Dog Eat Dog called April 2031. I don't know. There's something about this song that I really frickin' like. I always have. And for a while, it was my favorite song on Dog Eat Dog. It's not anymore. It changes.
We're 6 years away from April 2031.
Oh, isn't that wild?
It was crazy.
But I just thought this was a really cool song. And honestly, I can sing along with the lyrics, but I don't fucking really know what they mean. I just know I love the song and the melody and the way it works. But just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it other than I freaking love the song.
Yeah, it's very haunting.
It is. It's haunting. It's got a weird,
Very dystopian, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Apocalyptic even, like.
yeah,
Yep. It was Janie's dark vision of the future.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. So I just
I hope
thought
it's
it
wrong.
was, yeah. I
hope
just
so,
thought it
too.
was super catchy and like eerie kind of, and I just love it. So that's why I
Yeah.
picked it.
I love that song too.
So we can go on to Patrick with number 18 and this
No,
is
just
where
number
we fucked up.
18.
This is where we fucked up here.
This
Yeah.
is where we
So
so
I picked quite possibly one of my absolute favorite songs on Ultraphobic, because when it comes on, I lose my voice because I have to sing every word of it. And when that chorus comes in with "been shot down,"
Yeah.
I just bam, I gotta scream it out because it's so fucking kick-ass. And that's the title track of the fourth record, Ultraphobic. Such a kick-ass song. If I had a say, I would have said that should have been the first single from that record and not Family Picnic. I don't know why Family Picnic was chosen as the first single. I don't think it was a very good first single. I thought the video, while its heart was in the right place, was I get what they were trying to do, and I think they were trying to say, hey, if we help, have you seen the video for Family Picnic?
Don't ask me. I don't watch videos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
If you ever
Yeah, I've
if you
seen it.
watch our
Sorry.
videos, I'm always the one going, "Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it. I
I'm
haven't
talking
seen that."
about videos, and he's
it's like it's a very cheaply made video, obviously because they didn't have any money to make a good quality video, but it's like a video about an abused kid. And it's like his father's abusing him, and then the mother shoots, or the child shoots him, and the mother takes the rap at the end of it.
yeah.
And it at the end of it, like the last like 30 seconds of the video is like this thing flashing on the screen with like the phone number for saved children and stuff like that. And it's an admirable cause and all of that. And I think it was their way to try and possibly jump on something like that and say, oh, maybe we can get played like the Runaway Train video gets played by Soul Asylum because it's helping kids who are
Right,
having problems.
right.
And I get what they were trying to do with it, but I would have gone with Ultraphobic because it was ripe and made for radio. And if you think about what was on the radio in 1995, this if Warrant was even going to get on the radio at all, that would have been the song to put on.
Right. And Family Picnic's quite a bit heavier.
Yeah.
So maybe they were going, because of the grunge, and maybe that's why they chose that song. It was just a little
Yeah.
heavier, more grunge tinged. But I agree. Ultraphobic is a fantastic
Yeah, I
song.
feel like Family Picnic could have been on their Belly to Belly album.
Record. Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like it's more in that. Like you said, they were two very different, but that one's the closest one to the Belly to Belly stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But Ultraphobic rocks.
It does. It kicks ass.
Great song.
I'm gonna be listening to it pretty heavy after we're done with this.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Okay, on to me again
Yes, sir.
because I fucked up. So I picked Blind Faith off of Cherry Pie. Got some
Pussy ballad that I didn't pick.
Yeah,
Nice.
you got the majority of them. I can
I
tell you
did.
that.
Wow, the two of you guys and your pussy ballads. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like them too.
Janie wrote a good pussy ballad, I'll say that.
She does, and this one got up to number 80 in Billboard Hot 100, and then it got to 39 on mainstream rock tracks. Great song.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to read these lyrics because I want to sing them.
Mhm.
Sing them.
No,
Yeah, belt it out.
yeah. If you got me drinking, I would do it. I'm a pretty good karaoke
Okay,
singer.
but you're-
Karaoke,
You're
whatever.
a covered alcoholic, so we're not
Yeah.
going to get you drinking.
No, but darling, I know you're sleeping, but there's something that I just got to say. Wonder if you hear me while you're dreaming. You make a lifetime out of every day. Thanks to you, now I know all my dreams can come true. Blind faith in you.
Yeah.
I just love that song. It is so good, and I'm just happy it fell this far.
I love
Because-
the radio static at the beginning, and you just know
Yeah.
that's what you're going to hear coming up.
Yep. And just
It's amazing to me.
beautiful
It's
guitar stuff that they do. I mean, their acoustic stuff, or their a lot of their songs kind of start off acoustic and then kick in, and then kind of throw back into the acoustic and kick in, and I love that.
Yeah.
They do that better than anybody.
yeah.
It's just fantastic, and the the stuff they come up with, or that Janie comes up with on the guitar, is just freaking amazing stuff. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's amazing to me that that song wasn't a bigger hit. You figure they had done Cherry Pie, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and I Saw Red. If this song blows up, that album would have just gone into the stratosphere, I think.
Agree.
I don't understand for the life of me how that song didn't blow up. In my opinion, now this is what this will get me booted from Guru's show forever for saying this. I think it's a better song than I Saw Red. Which is Guru's jam. And there's nothing wrong with I Saw Red. That song rules too. But I think it's a better song for any of your viewers that are looking to hear the best version of that song ever. They did an acoustic version of it on the Arsenio Hall show, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the backing vocals in that song are sung by the drummer Stephen Sweet, and it's fucking insanely good. How amazing that song was live. They also they did a pay-per-view from the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour with Firehouse and Trickster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him on that tour.
Yeah, well, there's a pay-per-view of that whole show.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's on YouTube as well, and you get all three sets. You get the entire Firehouse set, the entire Trickster set, and the entire Warrant one, professionally
the whole
shot.
one.
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
have
go
it on
back and watch it
DVD.
because I was hammered and I loved it.
Oh, it's brilliant. But they also do the same, in the middle of the set, they bring out the acoustics, they all sit on stools and they play it. And Stephen and Janie, belt out an amazing version of that song.
The one thing I remember about that show is Janie was pretty trashed.
Sure.
He made the song Train Train about 15 fucking minutes long.
Yeah. That's not your
I'm not
favorite song
surprised.
either.
No, it's a good song. I
Yeah.
like the song, and he was just rambling and talking to the crowd. He was so fucking good
Yeah.
as a front man. I mean,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
even trashed.
Crowd, even trashed. Probably even better trash because the filter just went right out the door.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was just so fun to watch live. I mean, and interact and get the crowd into it. And he was fantastic. And I don't know, the first time I saw him, and they did this, when they played Down Boys Go, they would jump on the shoulders,
Yes.
and the fucking guy on the bottom would drop to his knees
Yeah.
with the guy on top of him. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Yeah. You got to be pretty
That's insane.
strong
A
and
lot of practice with that.
Yeah, but it was freaking phenomenal. That's why I say they're probably top 2, 3 of live performances I've ever seen.
So I got to agree with you about this song versus Guru's I Saw Red. I cannot believe this wasn't at least a top 40 hit. And I Saw Red, I don't know where that charted at for sure because that wasn't one of my songs I picked, so I didn't Google it. But this is a great ballad.
Oh, it's incredible.
Unbelievable. And I think the biggest thing with like Guru has a lived experience with that song, I Saw Red.
Yes.
And I do too, for sure. And I think that's, well, when we get to my top pick.
When you have a sentimental reason to a song,
Yeah.
it's hard for it to be beaten.
Back to the relatable thing, yeah, for
Right.
sure. If a song speaks to you or equates to a lived experience that you had, and it's practically word for word something that happened to you, it's pretty hard to
Yeah,
Beat
absolutely.
that, yeah.
to beat it. So, but
Cool.
overall, I think you're probably right. That Blind Faith just a little bit better of a ballad.
Well, I know for a fact that I Saw Red is higher on the list.
I do
Just
too.
throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll go on to you, Chris, with 2 picks at number 16 and 15. Another
Right.
pussy ballad.
Another pussy ballad. There's a theme here.
Yeah.
There is really a
Yeah.
theme.
And my pussy ballad is off of Ultraphobic. And it's Stronger Now. And the song, it's just a beautiful song. There's a great version of his daughter. I think it's Maddie Lane
Yeah.
singing it online. And she does a phenomenal job of it too. This is one of them songs that it almost brings a tear to my eye when I think about the lyrics. Um, and like you said, I'm not going to read lyrics from
Right.
every song that I pick. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it on this one,
Yeah. That's fine.
but
It's
man,
a good one.
yeah, and so Ultraphobic came out, what, 95?
Yep.
Yeah. Like you said about the song Ultraphobic being a single, I'm surprised that
This was a single.
that it wasn't a big hit.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's the
Too late in the
goddamn
game.
time. Yeah.
There's also a music video for it.
Yeah, the music video is great.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta say about this song, it was to me, like I said, I really, really loved Ultraphobic. And but this song wasn't one of my favorites. I until I watched Guru and I seen his story and this and that, and he had the tattoo, and I'm like, I gotta go listen to this song again. Because it's been a while since I had listened to it. I listened to it. I listened to it about 3 times in a row, and I just went, okay, I get it now. I fucking get it.
yeah.
This song is amazing.
That's a great point, Chad, because in 95, I was a junior in high school and I loved Warrant to the point where, like, as I said in a recent video on Guru's channel, like, I love CC DeVille so much that if he pooped on a plate, I'd be like, oh my God, this is great. It's the same thing with Warrant, is that, like, at that point in my life, they could have done anything. I mean, they could have just recorded like guitar feedback, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is groundbreaking!"
Brilliant.
Like this
Really?
is so amazing. And the track by track review of that record came out in Metal Edge before the actual album was out in stores. And Janie had put in there that "Stronger Now" up to that date was the best song he'd ever written. So when my friends and I got that record and we tore it open and we're listening to it, it skipped right to it. Because if it's something he says is the best song he's ever written, then I want to hear that first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Stronger Now did not hit with me right away. I was like kind of disappointed. I was like, what is this?
Oh
Like,
man.
this doesn't sound like anything they've ever done. But keep in mind, that's a 15, 16-year-old listening to it.
Yep.
And how does a 15 or 16-year-old relate to being married, having a kid, going through a divorce, like
You can't.
letting somebody go when you absolutely don't want to, or
Right.
you letting your family go when you don't want to? I mean, how do you relate to that when you're 15, 16? You don't. But as I got into my 20s and my 30s and I went through my own divorce, holy shit, that song takes on a whole new life. So
And
it was a very mature song for such a time. It's incredible.
yeah, very, very well said. And I think that's why when I went back and listened to it again, it hit so hard. I mean, I haven't gone through those things, but I can imagine it where when I'm whatever age, 20, 21 when this came out, I couldn't imagine it at that time.
Right.
So, yeah, so totally, totally well said right there.
Yeah, when he talks about the song about, letting go was hard to do
Yeah.
but I'm so much stronger now. I it's something you say, I'm stronger now, but I don't know that he really was, and I don't know that anybody who goes through some of this stuff that he talks about in the song really is stronger now. You
Yeah.
want to feel stronger now. You want to come out on the other side better. But some of those things that you just mentioned, divorces and losing family or giving up something you didn't want to give up.
That song also existed for quite a while before it got released on
Yeah.
on uh, on that. And if you know that and you try and say, well, would that have fit on Dog Eat Dog? No. Would that, and it definitely wouldn't have fit on Cherry Pie. I mean, he hadn't written it at that point, but you know, it existed um, during the Dog Eat Dog at least touring cycle. It didn't get played live or anything, but the reason I know that is because the other members who were not in the band when Ultraphobic happened in 95, so Joey and Steven, have both said that that song existed, that they knew of it, but it wasn't ripe for being out at that point. They
Right.
wrote quite a bit of songs when they went in 94 after Dog Eat Dog had happened after Janie had left, after Janie had come back, and it was still Steven and Joey in the band. That there was a lot of songs that existed at that point. That
Cool. And for you viewers who haven't really listened to Ultraphobic, I urge you to do that. It is so good if you just give it a chance. Um, this is a perfect example of this song, and Ultraphobic is a super catchy song, and just give it a listen. It's well worth your time, I promise.
ditto.
Number 15.
Well, we're halfway through. My number 15, or our number 15, my draft pick at number 15. It's another one off of Dog Eat Dog, and it's the second song on the album, the Hole in My Wall. This has just got such a groove to it. There's a part in the song where I think Janie says bigger. You know what I'm talking about? Is it bigger that he says?
No,
Bass
he's
kicks in.
referring to, he says here. And what it is it's this is from an interview with Michael Wagner, who was the producer of the record, who gets asked about that specific line. And it's as if they were all smoking weed and he took an inhale and went,
Here.
For no kidding.
Yeah.
So we talked about misheard lyrics before.
yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
here's one of mine.
I would have never. Would you think it said bigger?
Bigger.
I always said I couldn't figure out it. It was like the N word without the N.
Oh,
No. Nope.
Eager.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's what it sounds like to me. That's what I always said.
But
No, it's him
and a breath.
passing a
Yeah.
joint.
Yeah.
No kidding. But then the song to me gets bigger right there.
It
Like
does.
your bass or more. Yeah. It's a groovy tune, and I always love the A Hole in My Wall is better than sex and X-rated Disneyland grooving T-Rex. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Cool tune.
Yeah. It's
The record label and the band, well, the record label wanted that song as the lead single from Dog Eat Dog,
Huh.
and Janie wanted Machine Gun.
Janie one.
And the band kind of went to Janie and said, "Hey, look, you know, the record label's the one that has to promote this thing and whatnot. Maybe we should do what they want to release." And Janie said, "Nope, I want Machine Gun." And a lot of people feel that maybe this would have been bigger for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
If we could only see the future, it would be great.
Yeah. So far, I love all the songs we picked. What do we got at Foes up on 14?
That would be me, and I can't believe this song fell this far.
It did fall.
You know, I mean, Uncle Tom's Cabin is the song I'm talking about. It's off of Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie was supposed to be called Uncle Tom's Cabin. We all know the story. They asked him for an anthem, a catchy anthem song, and he wrote Cherry Pie, which he hated. This song, talk about a story on paper.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic lyrics. Holy shit. It's like, it reminds me of the Phil Collins song, In the Air Tonight. You know,
Okay.
similar vibe. Kind of see something that you're not supposed to see. And I don't know. I could read the whole goddamn song, but well, let's see what. Over in the bushes and off to the right come two men talking in the pale moonlight. Sheriff John Brady and Deputy Hess hauling two limp bodies down to the water's edge. And then it's, I know a secret down at Uncle Tom's cabin. I know a secret that I just can't tell. So he witnessed this. And yeah, the song goes on and goes through this, and it's just a fantastic song. Holy shit. And
Yeah.
that guitar beginning, I guess his brother played that. Janie Lee?
Yeah, his brother, Janie wanted his brother on the record in his brother is an incredible songwriter. And
Does his brother in anything?
no,
Done anything?
in fact, so his brother is an incredible songwriter. Janie felt that his brother was like, he wanted to be as good as his brother.
Wow.
And, yeah, which is a pretty remarkable statement. I actually have a few songs that his brother did that are online. They're on SoundCloud, and they're pretty good. He just has a very different kind of voice.
Okay.
And it's a different style of music, but it's very singer-songwriterish, but it's great. There's a song, his name's not John Os, Eric Oswald, and he has a song called Hardly Breathing that if you go to SoundCloud or if you just Google Eric Oswald uh, Hardly Breathing, you'll find it. And it's brilliant.
Is
Um,
that is Janie's or is it Janie
John Kennedy Oswald. It's
John
yeah,
actually,
John
Kennedy
Kennedy
Oswald? I never
Oswald.
knew
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew.
And but he wanted his brother on it, and it's a great little story. They got him in the studio, and he went into the room that was all mic'd up, and he wanted to warm up. And while he was warming up, he played that intro just as something to play,
No shit.
and he just kind of was warming up with that. And then he went, "All right, I'm ready." And they went, "No, you're done because you just played it, and it's perfect." And he loved it, and
That is
that's him.
that's freaking cool.
There's a couple
Yeah.
quick side notes about not necessarily about this song, but just two things I just thought of since we kind of got some Patrick. Patrick's kind of the warrant guru as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
Just from things we've talked about before we started shooting the episode. Anyway, so you mentioned that the album was going to be called Uncle Tom's Cabin,
Right.
Yes.
and I remember seeing the interview where he talks about writing Cherry Pie. And you were talking about Metal Edge, like I read a shit ton of Metal Edge. So the grocery store in Little Sherwood, where I grew up, always had Metal Edge, Circus for sure, and there was always something else random, maybe Hit Parader or something else. But I always thought Metal Edge was the best one. Metal Edge seemed like it had the best articles,
It had the
the
edge.
better interviews, that kind of stuff. But I swear in Metal Edge, I remember them talking about calling this album Vertical Smiles.
They did talk about that. They talked
Maybe that
about
was just
calling
a
it what
joke.
no, they talked about calling it that. They talked about calling it Quality You Can Taste, which was the name that they gave to the VHS that came out for Cherry Pie. But they talked about Uncle Tom's Cabin, obviously, and then the label told them it will be called Cherry Pie. So
Yeah, and then I just totally forgot about the other thing I was going to ask you. So fuck, I'm going to have to remember what that was.
You'll pop back in your
Gosh, I
it'll
hope
come
so
back to you.
because
your old
it
ass
was
brain.
it was a good one. Had something to do with Metal Edge.
You are older than me, so.
Oh god damn it!
Anyways, we are on to number 13 and 12 with Patrick.
Double shot of Dog Eat Dog, which is I mean, as there's not much else you can say about it. It's a fantastic record. It's even though it's not my favorite, it's a masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece. It's hard to find people that didn't like that record. Um, but I went with my the very one of the very first songs I ever heard off that record was introduced to me in high school. My friends and I made we got tasked in our English class. We had a final project my freshman year that we had to make some sort of Romeo and Juliet type thing. I don't even remember what it was now. And we wound up making like a movie, a terrible movie with a handheld camcorder doing this. And my friend Matt and my other friend Kent were editing it because I couldn't be there. And when they brought it to school the next day to present it, I hadn't seen it yet, and they put this song as like playing in the background of it, and it was Bitter Pill. And I sat there with my mouth opening, going, "This song is amazing. Who is this?" And it was Warrant, and it started the love affair with that song. And I just Bitter Pill is such an incredible song. Janie was a huge fan of Queen, and
Oh,
he was
yeah.
very much a Queen fan, and he wrote this song, and then in the studio, Michael Wagner suggested the with the
Yeah,
German, and that's Michael Wagner, the producer, singing that part. A lot of people don't know Michael Wagner, who was the producer, also was in the original band Accept at one point.
Oh,
Um,
kidding. Is he
Balls
on
to
the
the
balls
Wall.
still?
I don't know. I don't know what albums he was on. I just know he was in the band for a short amount of time,
Okay.
and that's how he came to America. And he and then he became a producer of this record and the Skid Row records that were big and whatnot. And But he had a lot of influence in the studio. They went with him because they were tired of the Bo Hill sound. And Michael Wagner really shaped this record. And Bitter Pill is just what a song. I mean, it's just fantastic. And there's two versions of the music video. There's an acoustic version of the song. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but there's an acoustic version of Bitter Pill that's just Janie walking around downtown LA with a good acoustic, much like he did in the acoustic version of I Saw Red.
Mhm.
And then there's the obviously the normal version of it, and both versions are great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
incredible song. And I didn't know about that breakdown, but yeah, when you say he's a Queen fan, that's what it reminded me
yeah,
of. Is
exactly. Yeah, I never thought of
so
it either that way
so
until just now. But
yeah, so
in the
good.
German, I
All
didn't.
the warrant nuggets that we're getting,
Oh,
it's
this
fucking
is
incredible.
fantastic. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Except, so there's a great video of Warrant playing balls to the wall.
Yeah, that's that doggy dog tour in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With and in that concert, that same concert's where Dimebag comes out and sings
Oh, no shit.
Big Talk with him.
What
Yeah.
are you talking about? Okay.
Cool, cool, cool.
So,
Yeah, Chris showed me that the other day, and I was like, really? I never
yeah,
heard of that. Yeah, so cool.
I remember what I was going to ask you. So, being the
What's that?
Warrant guru, and I feel like I read this in a Metal Edge or somewhere, and that's why I got off on the Metal Edge tangent. But uh, so John Kennedy Oswald is Janie's real name, and he was in a band called Plain Jane, I think was
Yes.
his first band. He changed his name to Janie, but I feel like he wanted it to be pronounced Johnny, Jani, and but everybody called him Janie, and that's just stuck. Is that a true story, or is that just something I feel like I?
That's the first I've heard of that, but then again, I wouldn't say I know everything, but
Damn
I'd
call.
never heard that. I know that he went by the pseudonym Mitch Dynamite when he was because Janie was also a drummer,
Okay.
and he actually played drums on a lot of things for Warrant, and then when to write songs or whatnot, he played drums on his whole solo album on the Jabberwocky stuff. Sometimes he played drums, but yeah, he went by the pseudonym Mitch Dynamite back then.
Crazy.
Killer.
Here's another question because I was gonna ask this too. Was there ever anything released with Plain Jane that's out there?
There's demos. They're
Okay.
very poor quality. They're very poor quality, but there's a demo version of Heaven because Heaven was a Plain Jane song,
Okay,
and
cool.
he brought that over, but it's very different. And if you there's a excuse me, there's a concert from 1987 at a very famous club in LA that helped break Warrant, and Warrant broke the record, the record set by Van Halen for attendance at that club, called Gazzari's in '87, and they play a version of Warrant or of Heaven that's very different. And a version of Sad Teresa from 1987 that
Hmm.
they just sound so different because they're, almost, especially with Sad Teresa, it's almost flamenco style guitar. It's very strange.
Weird.
Weird. Cool, cool, cool. Good knowledge. Okay, where are we at?
We're still on it with
Well, that
Pat.
was Bitter Pill.
Okay, yep.
And then my other pick is this is where it starts to get tough in this draft.
Yeah.
But I love this song. I don't. There's nothing you can say about it. It's almost like it's my second favorite Warrant song ever. But I'll change that later, I'm sure. Quicksand. I love it.
Yeah.
Incredible song. That whole second when I started out on Dougie Dig with the cassette tape, and holy crap, that second side of that cassette tape is just phenomenal. Song after song, it just got better and better and better, and wow. But yeah, Quicksand, incredible song.
Yeah, like you said, I think before we started shooting, that that album just holds up so well today.
It does.
Sounds great too. Not just the songs, but the production is fantastic.
Right,
Sonically, you put that on in the car, and it still kicks ass.
right. That's the one thing I would say about ultraphobic that I don't like is it's very like if you have subs in your car, the bass is just stupid in it.
Super heavy.
Yeah, like, and it just blows out your speakers almost. So it's kind of weird to listen to that one like in a vehicle, but still, I mean, if you got it on headphones, it sounds good, but it's like really overwhelming and in a
Yeah.
car stereo. So one thing I would change if I could on that album.
Yeah.
But Quicksand, excellent, excellent pick.
Very much.
Excellent, excellent. Love it. Um, on to me, I guess. Looks like number 11, and then we get into the top 10. We're going to stick with the Dog Eat Dog, and we're going to go with All My Bridges Are Burning. Kind of like Patrick said about Quicksand. What can you say about this? This is a quintessential. I mean, this could have been on Cherry Pie, I think. It just has that vibe. Um, God, I just got it singing in my head right
Yeah.
now. I'm not going to read the lyrics, but it's fantastic, upbeat song. I like the guitars in it. I just love everything about it. So that's all I'm going to say.
Great song.
Yeah. It really is great. Like I'm just kind of looking through the lyrics as
Yeah.
while you were talking, but
Well, you can read lyrics if you
yeah,
want.
I'm not gonna. But just when you said it, it could be on Cherry Pie. I was like kind of thinking, I don't know about that. But then when I think about the very beginning of the song, and Jimmy goes through the money like a millionaire, I think by the time it gets to the chorus, it doesn't sound like a Cherry Pie song anymore. But the pre-chorus and the first verse, I feel like, yeah, maybe I could see that happening.
know.
Or being a
That's-
thing.
I always
It's a very like
kind of poppy. That's why I say.
it's poppy, but it had a message. It's another story. And we all
Yeah.
knew somebody in our lives over the course of our lives that was a Jimmy.
Mhm.
And it's a powerful song. Great songwriting. Again, I mean, it's kind of redundant to sit here and say, "Oh, great songwriting." Of course it is. Look who wrote it,
Right.
Like
Exactly.
No doubt.
So, just we'll say it about every song. Let's get into the top 10 with Chris at number 10 and number 9.
So my number 10, or our number 10, and I don't know what pick it would have been, but when I came up at number 10, I picked this song, the very first Warrant song that I ever heard. Well, I heard Down Boys on MTV, maybe on the radio. But when I went out and picked up this cassette, popped it in, the first song on the album is 32 Pennies. And I think I've seen it written as 32 pennies in a ragu jar too.
I was
but-
just going to ask that. What the fuck is that? I've only seen 32 pennies because I had this album right away. And,
Yeah, it's
and
32 pennies on the album when you
Yeah,
bought
and then
it back
you
in the
see-
day.
Now, all of a
It
sudden,
is-
what?
it should be 32 pennies in a ragu jar because that's how the band references it.
Yeah,
I think the label cut it short for printing on the album though.
fair enough. But
Yeah,
so
because I've never. I was like, what the fuck is this? Is it a different song or something? Or I thought maybe it was a different version.
well, I mean,
And
it's a lyric in the song,
Right.
Yeah, but I just never seen it in print. Printed.
So where
Like,
did it pop up for you? I saw it on maybe a greatest hits or something album, or
Maybe, yeah.
yeah.
I
But
believe it's 32 pennies in a ragu jar on the latest and greatest release that was like kind of like a re-recording of songs.
Is that where I seen it? Maybe.
I don't know. I picked that up and I don't remember that. I mean, I remember where I was when I bought that album. It was Best
the latest
Buy,
and greatest. Yeah.
Fargo for some dumb reason. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's just whatever.
But anyway, yeah. So 32 pennies. It's a banger, I think.
Great song.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chorus is great. I mean, then again, the songwriting, whatever. But it's, to me, it kicks off the album, and it maybe harkens back to a time where 32 pennies in a ragu jar. That's all I got to my name. I love her and she loves me, and to the pennies, it's all the same.
Right.
Everybody had a jar. Maybe it wasn't a ragu jar,
Yeah.
or whatever. But where I got a jar up by my bed, I throw all my change in, and
Yeah. I got one too.
it's more than 32 pennies in there. But
Yeah.
we've all been there. That's
Right.
all we got.
Exactly.
Yep. Ramen.
Yeah.
Cool song. And for those of you who have watched the channel, you know the story already, but I had this album and I traded it to Jay Johnson for fucking Winger. Because
Which winger? The first one?
first one.
Oh, terrible trade.
I
Terrible
know.
trade.
I know. And I kicked myself in the ass after that because it seemed like we'd go cruising and we'd throw something in and it was always Warrant and not fucking Winger. And then I was like, God, that was a dumbass trade. So I had to go
There's some
buy.
good songs on that winger record, but
There
it
is. There's some
didn't
really,
hold up as well, you know.
yeah, yeah. No, there's some good songs on that Winger
Well,
album for sure. You know, I mean, me being, I was a aspiring guitarist, and I heard Reb Beach play, and I thought his playing was so fucking good. So I was like, oh, I want to have that album, but just not near the
so you
album that
got one
this
of your
is.
favorite albums on a trade, if I remember right.
I got my favorite. Well, I
One of
mean,
your favorites.
well, I got Metallica Kill 'Em All
What
as
was
a
it?
trade, and I don't even remember what I traded
Oh,
him,
okay.
but I know it was no Metallica,
Yeah.
so that spawned my love for Metallica. And
You didn't trade Winger for it.
no, no,
You
well, that was
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would have been.
way, way
didn't make
after.
up for the trade, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't have
so
any compensatory picks or.
no, I wish I could remember. Maybe Troy Johnson remembers, because that's who I traded. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, so 32 pennies, that's number 10. We're on to number 9. And who's up? Number
You.
9. Oh, me still. So this is my, I think my last appearance from this album, and our last appearance from this album. Dog Eat Dog is the first single off Dog Eat Dog.
Machine Gun.
Yes, brain fart just for a second there. Machine Gun, first song on the
Thought
album,
you had,
first
thought you had a
single.
fucking stroke. You're so
Yeah,
old.
well, I might still. Well, I was just thinking about Dog Eat Dog, and we did the top 30 songs, and 10 of them are on Dog Eat Dog. That's damn near the whole album. Made our list.
Yeah.
It's very impressive too. But so I was just kind of looking through our top 10, not to give any picks away, but I guess I kind of did in a way when I say this is the last appearance from Dog Eat Dog. But
It's okay.
Machine Gun, I think the I think the label had it right wanting this to be the first single. I feel like. I don't know if you guys disagree with that or.
Patrick said that he thought which
Hole in my wall.
Hole in My Wall should have been.
But that's the one.
That's what the label wanted. Yeah.
Oh, the label wanted Hole in My Wall.
Yeah.
Guys
Janie
wanted
wanted Machine Gun.
Machine Gun.
Well, and I can understand Janie's point of view. This is catchy. It's got a catchy riff. It's got the shouty chorus kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
For lack of, I can't think of what I'm trying to
when
say.
he sings, or well, when he did sing this live, he dirtied up the lyrics a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Especially the chorus. Yeah.
Always loved the dirty versions of songs, but
Sure.
I think there was also a concerted effort by a lot of artists. You know, you figure this is September of '92 when this record comes out. So Slave to the Grind's already been out for quite a bit.
Heavy.
That was heavier. Pantera's releasing Mouth for War, or not Mouth for War, Forward to Spin Power is out now, and that's heavier. Everybody's making an effort to get heavier. Grunge is just ramping up and starting to come out and get heavier. I get why they wanted Machine Gun. You know, and it's fun to play the record label exec and go, well, it should have been this or that or this or that. I don't really know that any song on that record was going to propel them to have a hit.
Right.
this album, though, I loved it from the start. This isn't
Oh my God, yeah.
that grew on me.
Me too. Yeah.
I can remember picking it up. Like you said, September 1992, right?
Yep.
I got out of the Navy in July, like later in July of 92. I got home here, well, to Minot, not home, but
Yep.
I got a job at the post office with my cousin Robbie, watches all of our episodes and is a big hair metal fan like me, and we're about the same age, and we grew up on this stuff. And I can remember picking up this album on cassette, of course, and popping it in. Probably, I think I had, God, what the hell car was I? I had a 1983 3 Pontiac Sunbird with the Pioneer Super Tuner 3, deck. And I can
Yeah.
remember popping this in and driving up and down Broadway and just listening to this album over and over. I think we probably listened to it 3 times that night. And it just, Machine Gun, first song on the album, hits me hard. And I love it.
Cool,
Anyway.
cool. It's a good pick.
Great song.
It's a good pick. Not bad at all. Shit, on to me. Kind of unprepared here. Number 8, I got Thin Disguise, which, where did I hear that first? Where did that come out? It came out on a best of, right?
Well, where I heard it first was this B-side to the Cherry Pie single.
Yeah, it was the B-side to Cherry Pie, and then it came out in 96 on the Columbia, kind of rushed out the best of Warrant
or
CD.
something, or
where they're all sitting on the pool table for it's from the photo shoot for the We Will Rock You single.
Okay.
There you go. So I hadn't heard it till then.
Oh, okay.
And holy shit, I went, that is a freaking fantastic song. So I didn't know it had come out with that. And I just fell in love with the song, a little bit of the lyrics. This house used to feel so warm. Heater works, but I'm chilled to the bone. Oh, this room never felt so big. There's not enough conversation to fill the empty spaces. And, it's a thin disguise, living our life behind a thin disguise. Just a catchy song. And I just can't believe that it didn't actually make the album.
Yeah.
And was like a B-side to something. This shouldn't be a B-side to anything.
This should have been on the record instead of Love in Stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I think so. I think I told this story on, well, you'll see this as our Hump Day Headbangers leading up to this episode we've already recorded.
Yeah.
And this was one of my Hump Day Headbangers was Thin Disguise. But I remember picking this up. I remember going into Sam Goody. I can remember it walking over to the left where they had and I never bought singles.
I didn't either. That's why I didn't.
But I did because this came out before the album, and I wanted it. I wanted to hear what else was going to be. I mean, Cherry Pie was all over the place, but I wanted to hear what was on the other side. So I knew what else I was expecting on the album. And it's a freaking great song, like just unbelievable.
Right.
So Cherry Pie comes out and I go pick it up and there's no Thin Disguise on there. I was disappointed because that's just a great tune.
I didn't hear it until the Best of Warrant CD came out, and then I bought it specifically to get my hands on Thin Disguise.
Yeah, other than Cherry Pie, and it didn't really make the album, but it's on the extended versions or whatever, but I had heard this song before anything else on Cherry Pie, besides Cherry Pie. But,
yeah, it kind of reminds me of the whole Skid Row "Get the Fuck Out" and Beggar's Day.
Yeah.
Beggar's Day is a way better song,
I think so.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
fair.
And that didn't make the album, but you got a song called "Get the Fuck Out." It's just kind of.
Yeah, Beggar's Day was on the Walmart version of the album, which is great.
It was also a way to get you to buy both records.
Album twice, yep. Perfect, yep.
Yeah, great idea, and it kind of screams at the PMRC, which is a thing back then.
Yeah.
So.
Like the ode to Tipper Gore at the end of Cherry Pie.
And I mistakenly said that was all from one concert. That wasn't all from one concert. That was clips from different shows.
Yeah.
But a lot of fucks. He's prolific with
prolific with the
yeah. I think prolific is the best way you could say that, Chad.
Yeah. So I've seen him enough times to know that word is used liberally.
Yes.
So anyways, that's my pick, and then we go on to Chris with 2 picks at 4 and 3. No. Shit, Patrick. I jumped.
I think I got 2 picks. Yeah.
Patrick with 7 and 6.
8 and 7. No.
I'm amazed that more people don't sit and talk about this song. It's a masterpiece. I fought with myself. My number one, when we get to number one, my number one is will create some waves because it's like nobody will ever see that as a number one. but
Nope.
there's always reasons behind it.
Right.
This would have been my number one if I didn't go with that. And that is from the Under the Influence record. It was one of the two new songs. Why more people don't talk about the song Face. What an incredible ballad. Yes, I too love pussy ballads. Just like
Very
Guru,
good.
just like you guys, just like millions of us love them. This song was written with Janie and Carrie Kelly when Carrie Kelly wasn't in the band at this point. Billy Morris was the guitar player in the band at this point. They were going out on tour with the Glam Slam Metal Jam, which was Poison. It was Poison, Quiet Riot, Enough is Enough, Warrant, and it was an incredible tour. I saw Poison for the first time on this tour, and I saw Warrant for the first time on this tour. And I met Janie Lane backstage in Long Island on that tour, and I got about 25 seconds with him backstage, and told him that I thought Bitter Pill was one of the greatest songs he'd ever written at that point. And he looked at me and he said, "Man, you have no idea how good it feels to hear that." And I said, "Well, I also think Face is pretty fucking good too." And he just looked at me and was like, "Dude, you just made my night." Because nobody's telling him that. Everybody's telling him, "Oh, cherry pie is great," you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for him to hear that Face, which is on a brand new record that they'd put out, was incredible. I'm curious what you guys think of Face.
Well, we kind of told you
Yeah.
ahead of this episode that I didn't know it existed until you picked it uh, during the draft, and I'm like, "What? I don't even know this song. What is this?" So I had to
I'm
go find it, and I'm like, "Holy shit, this is really freaking good." So it was a happy day for Chad because he got new warrant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did. And I did too, because I'm embarrassed to say this, but I know I had the Under the Influence album for I don't know how long, but I would say at least maybe I didn't get it in 2000 when it came out, but I bet you 15 or 20 years ago I had it.
yeah,
Just
And I just don't I remember for whatever reason the other song, Subhuman, and I remember so like Chad said, we listened to Face tonight together. He'd listened to it before.
yeah,
I didn't recognize it right away, but it's a
yeah.
great tune. I
It
like,
sounds like classic Warren.
yeah, I
it does.
actually
It
like
does.
Subhuman a little better, I think,
Yeah,
which
Yeah,
is
not
whatever. That's just
not
my,
me. I like Face better,
okay.
but yeah. So fantastic pick, and thank you for picking him because, like I said, it was like fucking birthday for me.
Yeah, like a new Warren album just came out
Yeah, I
today,
was like, holy
or a
shit.
single.
Yeah, and
it's amazing. Like I said, it's amazing to me. The song's been out since 2001, and anybody I talk to about Warrant, I'm like, well, it's in my like top three of all time Warrant songs, and they're like, I've never heard it. And I'm always like, wow, but they know, songs off Belly to Belly or Ultraphobic or what, and I'm like, how, what? It's incredible. So
Yeah,
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 I think
great song.
the key to it is why people don't know it is because, like Chad said, it's on an album where it's almost all covers.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
And
buried on a
actually,
covers record.
if you pick up the album in the store, and even if you just get the play on words of the Under the Influence, and you start reading the titles, oh, Toys in the Attic.
yeah,
Um, I can't think of one other, but anyway, you recognize those song titles from other bands. You're like, ah, it's a covers album. Put it back on the rack and
Yeah,
walk
exactly.
away. If it didn't have one of those little stickers on there that said
two new,
featuring two brand new Warrant songs, I might have not bought it right away.
right?
Yeah,
Yep, and I didn't.
Yep.
So, so thank you for that. Appreciate it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, great song. Then you got one more, number
I
7.
do. And then this one is just as equally as good. I told everybody earlier in the show that Belly to Belly is my favorite Warrant record, and that is standing firmly a bit among that record is my favorite song, and arguably one of my absolute. You could make a case on a different day of the week that this would be my favorite Warrant song. Letter to a Friend. What an incredible song. One of the most catchy, stick in your head choruses from the day you heard it the first time. You immediately left that song the first time you heard it and went, well, that's a good one on this CD. I'll be going back to that one. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure as shit. That song is just phenomenal.
Really
Love
good
it.
song. Really good song. Like I said earlier, I'm not a big Belly to Belly fan, but that song and Vertigo I did like. So good pick.
Yeah.
There's some other goodies on that too. Like you said, it's your favorite, which surprises the hell out of me. But then when but then when I think about things like you know, you were a freshman in high school in 92, and so in 95 when this comes out, you're a junior in high school. When I was a junior in high school, that was the most formative years of my musical
Yep.
taste, I would say for sure, somewhere between that year and my senior year and maybe the first year out of high school.
People also forget, Bergy, that so I got that on release day in 96. And you know, if Warrant had come out with a brand new record in 2 years, maybe it wouldn't be my favorite. But we didn't get another Warrant record
Yeah,
in
true.
June. We got a rehash greatest hits, latest and greatest, that had a couple new songs. And then you got the covers record, and then you got a Janie Lane solo album. So you never really got another Janie Lane record. So you figure I lived with that record from 96 forever. So I've had that one as my last one forever.
Yeah.
And it, I loved it. I just loved it. I didn't love it at first. It took a long time, but
Yeah, and it
it
was
stuck with
called
me.
yeah, same. I didn't love it at first. Um, I still don't love it near as much as you do to be number one pick, but I did like it a lot more after more listens. But I say that about a lot of albums. They take a few listens before it finally just catches hold. Uh,
Yeah.
the thing about that one that always bugged me was when I remember picking it up and I can see the cover, Belly to Belly, Volume One. There was going to be a Volume Two, right? Wasn't there? Or was that
There
never?
was talk about it. There was talk about it, and there were songs, but it just never happened. They lost the deal with CMC, and it got fulfilled with the live album. And I think at that point there was arguments, and Lane was, threatening to be out of the band, and he went and made his solo record, and then that came out, but it took some time, and there was always talk about Warrant songs, but there was never another album, and there was talk about a Belly to Belly Volume 2, but they hadn't written it at that point yet.
Okay.
Cool. Cool. Good
Top five.
stuff. Good stuff. Top five, and we're gonna start off with another pussy ballad, and we're going to the Cherry Pie album, and the song I picked at number five is "I Saw Red." And I know you said that you thought Blind Faith was a better song. I don't know. It's close, but I just, this song, like you and I have talked about, I don't know if you've ever seen this, Patrick, is this lady who does um,
The
critiques of
charismatic voice.
charismatic voice.
Yeah.
She listens to a song, listens to the person singing, and she breaks down. She's a
Vocal coach or
opera trained singer, so she knows
Okay.
all the things. If you ever get a chance, Patrick, go check her out. It's fun. Her facial expressions and the way she explains things, and she gets
yeah.
really quirky. And
And she's not unattractive either.
no, she's not
But I think her husband is like a
a
metal
metalhead.
fan or
Yep,
yeah.
and got her into that
Yeah.
kind of listening to that stuff. Well, I put in a request. She hasn't fulfilled my request yet, but I wanted her to do a vocal analysis of Janie Lane. And I requested, this is the song I requested
Okay.
because I like the way he sings in this song. I think it shows his vocal abilities very well. There might be other songs, but I couldn't think of one at the time when I did that really, I don't know, just, the low
Showcased or whatever.
showcased. Yeah, I mean, he does the low stuff, he does the high stuff, he does it all. So I just love it. It's a it's a sad story. And this is, I'm going to ask Patrick because you're going to know this. It says the song was a true story, betrayal. It was written by Janie Lane, had walked in on his girlfriend in bed with his best friend, resulting in a nervous breakdown and delayed release of the band's first record. Is that true? Do you know?
You know, Eric Turner said in an interview back in 17, great interview, by the way. And I would tell everybody to go listen to it if they can find it. Um, he was on there's a comedian named Dean Del Rey, who has his own podcast called Let There Be Rock.
Okay.
And if you Google Let There Be Rock, Eric Turner, Dean Del Rey, you'll find it. And it is probably the quintessential interview with any member of Warrant. It's the only career spanning interview that exists of it. And Eric Turner makes reference to the fact that Janie embellished things live sometimes in the live setting to introduce, but that's what a frontman does,
Right.
as they say, oh, he used to say, and pardon the language here, but he said, in the live record, he's like, or it's not on the live, it's a bootleg I have in which he's like introducing I Saw Red, and he's like, I still hate that bitch to this day. And it's like Eric Turner said, yeah, he used to say that live, but his girlfriend at the time's name was Becca Bramlett, and she's a singer, and she famously replaced Stevie Nicks in Fleetwood Mac years ago.
Okay.
And there was talk that she had, I think it was Richie Sambora, but then again, I've never heard that Richie Sambora and Janie Lane were tight friends. So
Right.
so that's where I think there's some embellishment there.
Right.
Maybe she found, I don't know about the best friend part, but
Right.
yeah, that's who it was, though. That's who it's about.
Okay.
And Janie wound up friends with her later in life, and right before he died, um, this is part of my book, is that he reached out to Becca Bramlett, and her and her husband went to go help him, and they were among two of the last people to be around Janie. They tried to get him
Wow.
out of they took him into rehab. The last rehab he went into, he was dropped off by them, and then
Wow. Crazy.
uh,
But anyways, you guys, if you listen to this podcast, you know the song. It is a very, very awesome song. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I just thinking back to it. I'm, trying to remember the first time I heard it, and not to give anything away, but it felt like almost the sequel to Heaven. The first verse is all lovey-dovey, and then, and I didn't know this, and I probably did because I read the shit out of Metal Edge. But when you hear the song for the first time and it comes up onto the chorus and then I Saw Red and you realize what's going on, it's just a total like gut punch
Mm-hmm.
in the song even, and to have, and almost everybody probably has a similar experience in the fact that like
Maybe not.
Guru,
Yeah, maybe not walking in on it, but somebody cheating on you or something to that
leaving you.
effect. Yeah.
yeah,
The beauty of music is to interpret it however the listener takes it to. So, I mean, I'm sure it related to people who weren't being cheated on. They just had a broken heart.
yeah,
Yep.
totally.
For sure. Yep.
Good damn song, good pick.
Thank you. On to Chris, number 4 and number 3.
So this is, we're upwards of 8, 9, 10 pussy ballads. So I'm going to save that one for my next. But my number 4 is the first Warrant song that I ever heard. It had to be up high on the list because it got me into the band, and it's Down Boys, off their first album, Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinkin' Rich. I don't know if it was was it their first single? You would know this for sure.
Cowboys was, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember, and I wish I've tried. I think I did find this actually on YouTube, but I remember when that album came out, shortly after was a video cassette that came out too, and it was out. the character on the front cover. I can't think
Yeah,
of his names.
Quigsley something,
Something Buck
Mr.
or
something Buxley. Yeah.
Huxley. Yeah, that's it. There's a whole like home video that came out with all the different songs and videos. Actually, it almost was like a live video, but it wasn't really live. But interspersed between the songs were the band's dealings with this Mr. Buxley guy.
Yeah.
But Down Boys, the video, and I know you're not a big video guy, but and they did this on stage too, or on different times you see them play, like on videos where they were very choreographed with their spins and their, the
Yep.
guitars were a certain way. And I don't know, I guess at 18 or 17, I guess I probably was when this came out. Hell, I might have even been, this came out in 89, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was 17 yeah, it was still while I was in school, so it had to be early in that year. Do you remember the date? Anybody got it handy?
I don't have it on my hand, but I think it was in, I know Cherry Pie was in December or January, I think.
Anyway, I feel like I was still in high school when this album came out,
Yep.
which would have been before May of 89, but for sure Down Boys.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about the choreograph too, and that's the first time I saw them on this song is when they had the guys on the shoulders and
Yes,
they go
yep,
when the
and that's-
down boys go and then they drop to their knees.
Yeah.
It was really fucking cool. It was awesome.
Yeah, I love the song. I'll never skip it.
Nope.
And it's pretty high on the list. But the main reason why it's this high on my list is it was my first taste of Warrant, so
Good call.
it holds a special place. And then I'm just gonna, unless anybody's got anything else they want to add about Down Boys, I'm gonna move on to my 3, and my top pick is Heaven.
And you're lucky I let you have it. I just about, but I knew the
yeah.
significance for you.
Yeah, the main thing is was when I met my wife, this was our song. Maybe more so for me even than her, but if we hear it come on sometimes, hey, they're playing our song, right? I think everybody who's married or in a relationship has a song probably that they call their song, maybe not. But Heaven went all the way to number 2. We all know the story that Milli Vanilli kept them out from being number 1, and it killed me. I don't know why. Like, it wasn't my song, and it wasn't a big deal that it didn't hit number 1, but it did bother me, and especially further on down the road when you found out Rob and Fab from Milli Vanilli weren't even singing the damn song.
Right.
You know?
And I told you that I've said this before about this song, and that my wife, I always sing this line to her. You remember it?
Yeah.
So the line is, "I wrap my arms around you so I can feel you breathe." I always say, "I wrap my arms around you so I can feel your tits."
Yeah.
And so every time the song comes on, and she just looks at me and waits for me to sing it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
It's great. I mean, just the ballad. It's a ballad, of course, and I think when we did an episode where we had our top 10 ballads, this was my number 1.
Was my number 1 also.
Yeah, it's just one of the best ballads of all time. And I Saw Red and Blind Faith and all the other ballads we picked are all pretty damn close to right up there with it.
Yeah, we could have did a top 10 Warrant.
We could have did a top 10 Warrant ballads, and actually in our top 30, there's probably upwards of close to 10 ballads on there. But man, the guy could write a ballad.
For sure.
Write some songs.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. All good?
That's
All
all I
good.
got about it.
All good. Okay, my number 1 pick comes in at number 2. Is from Cherry Pie, and the song is Mr. Rainmaker.
Brilliant song.
I fucking love this song. I love the guitar beginning, that little tick, 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 fucking, oh. And I got to sit down and just learn this on. It's not that hard of a song to play. I just haven't done it. But I don't know. It's a rocker. It kicks ass. It's upbeat. It is
Incredibly well written. Just
yep.
insanely well written.
I'll just read you the first verse here. "It could have rained for 40 weeks, dear, and I'd never know the difference. When your life is one long downpour, you're not sure you'll go the distance. You came along with a patch of blue sky. Inside your arms, I found a place that's warm and dry. That is some good fucking songwriting
Yeah,
right
and
there.
it gets better with
Yeah.
the chorus.
Mr. Rainmaker,
Yeah, don't waste your
don't
time.
waste your time, because I found a girl who is permanent sunshine. She is the little queen of all of my dreams. Carry on and find someone else to rain on.
Yeah, fuck.
You know, could you just
So good.
imagine if you're sitting in the room and you got the music for this and it's like, so what do you got for lyrics? And
Yeah,
somebody
right.
reads that out at you, you'd be like, holy shit, okay. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, that might work, I think.
Yeah, I think that's gonna work.
It's so good. Um, and I didn't want to take a chance on this dropping or somebody
You
picking this.
wanted it, and
I wanted
it
it.
would have went not too far up past.
I
You
know,
wouldn't have
and
made it to your next pick, I don't believe.
I don't think so either. So I was just like, oh, I'm not going to spoil the first pick, but I think I remember him. No, did somebody say my first pick's going to be something? I don't know. But, oh, I remember it was. I remember Patrick saying on Twitter or X that his favorite album was Belly to Belly. So thought, I'm
So
fucking
there's some
safe.
strategy here.
Yeah, you're fucking safe. Yeah.
I'm fucking safe.
Yeah,
He's going to pick something on Belly to Belly. So I was like, yes, I get Rainmaker.
yeah.
So that was my thing, and I didn't mention earlier there was a couple fu moments. Patrick had one for me. I can't remember. I gotta look now.
I kind of thought you were going to pick that song, but I had it kind of queued up in my brain, and I
Oh yeah,
knew I had to pick Heaven and Down Boys somewhere.
and I knew you were gonna pick Heaven.
Yeah.
Um, Ultraphobic. When Patrick picked Ultraphobic, I was like, oh, I was crushed. I was like, that was my next pick. I
Well,
was
and
like,
that's
God
right
damn it.
around the time where we fucked it up too, or screwed up, and
Yeah, that is
didn't.
exactly when it was.
So you might have been able to pick it if you
No, no,
wait.
no,
No.
because he would have had two picks there.
Okay.
He should have had 18 and 19, and then I should have had 20.
Yeah, Mr.
And
Rainmaker though.
but I had to go with Mr. Rainmaker as my number one, and
What a great tune.
I absolutely love it. So
Guitar solo is so good in that one too.
yeah, their guitar playing, they're underrated as far as guitar players go. They're really catchy, kind of like Skid Row. What's his name?
Oh, Scotty and Snake.
Yeah, their solos are fucking amazing on those first few albums.
Oh, and the solos in the ballads. Like I
Yeah.
remember you.
I remember you as the
Yeah.
one that just pops into my head right now. That just is fantastic. But we're not talking about Skid Row. But I think Warrant's guitar playing and stuff it's underrated. They write catchy shit. Their solos are catchy. So dun-dun-dun, we're on to
Yeah,
number one,
drum roll for the number one pick.
and it's going to be a
Blow
surprise.
people's minds. Yeah.
Going to blow everybody's minds.
It is.
Well, nobody is gonna see this coming as number one.
Nope.
And I assure you that the comments in this video will be, what the F did you bring this dummy on for? With number one.
You said you
But,
had a reason, and I'm super excited to hear the reason. That's what I'm excited for.
So my number one is this is even gonna blow Guru's mind, I think, is Sure Feels Good to Me. And the reason is because I told you the first time I saw Warrant was in Long Island at the Jones Beach Arena opening. Well, they were third on out of four with Poison headlining on that 2001 Glam Slam Metal Jam. And I have to say, I'm quite fortunate. I didn't get to see Warrant back in the day when they had their popularity, but that first experience seeing Warrant was in front of over 20,000 people, and it was packed when they went on, and they went over like incredibly. Like that place was deafening when they came out, and I felt so good because after seeing so much of them getting shit on for years, that must have felt great for them. And it was pretty magical for me because like I said, I got to meet Janie afterwards. But reality sets in the next year when they played. I live in Vermont, which is not we don't get concerts here, or at least good ones.
Yeah, same.
And the following year, they were on the Metal Edge summer tour, which was them with Rat that Jizzy Pearl was fronting, Firehouse, and LA Guns, and Dokken that was just Don Dokken, right? They're in that played in a small little arena that not even an arena, it was an outdoor like fair that had like you could fit probably 7 or 8 thousand people in that place. There was 35 people.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And the night before was the David Lee Roth Sammy Hagar tour, which packed it. And David Lee Roth played past the curfew in the town. So because he broke the sound ordinance, the town told the fair that this Metal Edge show had to go on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday. So it didn't beat the sound ordinance.
Oh my
And
God.
there was no time to tell the people who'd bought tickets. So thankfully, I'd taken the day off. And when I got there, there was like 10 people in the crowd when the concert started with LA Guns.
Wow.
In an outdoor arena at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on like a Wednesday night. So it already was cursed, right?
Right.
This is a very long-winded answer to why it sure feels good to
Oh,
me. It's the number one. But
Great.
the reason it's number one is because Warrant came on third that day. So it was probably closer to like 4:30 when they went on, and there's still nobody there. This was when Janie Lane had the mohawk, if you
Okay.
remember.
Yep. Yep.
He's got the mohawk. He came out. They started off with "Sure Feels Too Good to Me." They kicked it off. He came running out on the stage as if there was 50,000 people in that crowd. Engaged all of us in the front row, then jumped off the stage and into the crowd and sang the entire concert with in the crowd with all of us.
That
wow.
is so fucking cool.
And I will always love "Sure Feels Good to Me" because he was standing right next to me and I was belting out every word and he was belting out every word. And it was just, you looked up on the stage, and I can't say the rest or I can't say the same thing for the rest of the members of the band. They were just going through the motions. But he was on fire that night. And he was, putting the mic to people next to him, putting his arm around people. This is before cell phones were a thing. So it's not like everybody was out taking pictures with him or everything. People were just in the moment, and it was magical. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. It was
He,
incredible.
he made all 35 people feel like they were the special. And
Yeah.
he that to me is the sign of a fucking professional and a guy who loves what he does
Yeah.
and cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 20 some odd years later, without any cell phone pictures or video evidence of this, that memory is like seared into your brain.
Oh God, yeah. I remember he was wearing a Hard Rock Casino t-shirt and jeans, and you know, it was the craziest thing. And I ran right over to the merch table the minute they went off the stage because I hadn't gone over there yet because I couldn't believe the concert was starting when I got there. And I ran over to the merch table and they were selling Back Down to One, which was his solo record before it had been officially released. So I bought that night, a good year before it came out. And it was such a magical moment, but sure feels good to me. I mean, that just seems like an ordinary track on those records. It's a great song, but it's my favorite because I mean, he literally ran out, did a couple headbangs, started the song, and then jumped off into the crowd right with us
Yeah.
and finished it. And I was just like, this is this is unreal that this is happening. It's amazing. So
It's so
my
freaking
favorite.
cool. Thanks for sharing that. I want to say something because the fans of this music, we are fanatical about it. And it's just
Yeah.
because it did something to us at a young age and made an impression. And we keep the fire burning to this day, you know, how many years later. And that's another thing I love about this music is that you could put 10 of us in a room and we'd instantly be friends because of our love for this genre. And there's no other fucking genre out there that the fans are like this.
Yeah,
I guarantee,
sure.
I guarantee you, I guarantee you, there's not country guys getting together and just talking about country music. They don't
Yeah.
do it. We do it because we love it. We fell in love with it at a young age and still love it to this
Yeah.
day.
We heard
And
it.
it's
We felt
incredible.
it.
It's a time machine like we've talked
Yeah.
about. You know, you like this is a time machine for Patrick, and there's numerous songs you hear it and you just think of a moment in time when song was playing and you just go it brings you right back
Yeah.
there and you're just
We were
like,
just transported to
yeah, I felt like I was there when he was talking about that, and I had it pictured. I had it pictured at the North Dakota State Fair
yeah.
Yeah.
because that's an outdoor thing.
Yep.
And my mind was visualizing 35 people out in that big area and him coming out and making it awesome because he's awesome.
I was visualizing some of the things that you sent a few videos when you went to that thing in Minnesota,
Yeah.
Rock Timber.
Yep.
And for some of those groups, there was only, a handful of people milling around at
Yeah,
least
I
to
mean,
start with.
hundreds,
Yeah.
few hundred,
Yeah. Awesome.
you know. So yeah, you know what? For those guys, even like today, like I went to that thing a couple of years ago, for them to come out, they still put on a good show. And then they're old as fuck now, like we are, and they still come out and they try their best. So that's awesome. I'll support it as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
Well, that's our top 30.
that's our top 30, and
Did it.
I want to thank Patrick very, very much for coming on and all his knowledge. It was awesome, and I hadn't met you before, and it was great to meet you. I feel like I said, I mean, we have the same love of music, and if we sat down at lunch or fucking the bar or whatever,
Yeah.
we'd just hit it off and be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say thank you to you guys. You guys have a great show, and I always look forward to it. And I subscribe, so I see every time you guys post stuff, and I go right there and watch it. I love the little shorts you guys do in a lead up to thing. I mean, it's great. You guys are fantastic. Keep it up, man.
All right, we appreciate that.
Yes.
We love doing it. So thank you for the support and the encouragement, and we're gonna do our best to keep her rolling.
Cool. Will you have me back when my book comes out?
Fucking A. Oh,
Cool.
that's a yes.
Yeah. 100%.
I'd love to come on and talk about it when it comes out.
Oh, for sure. And I can't wait for it to come out because you got all kinds of nuggets that are just fantastic. And, I mean, and you're doing it on a band that we hold dear to our hearts. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
About it.
Absolutely.
so
The fact that you mentioned this when we were talking about one of the other songs about that Warrant was kind of shit on, or
yeah.
it's unbelievable to me that anybody ever looked down on Warrant, because
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I
The
don't,
quality of the songwriting is better than so much of what's out there.
so much of the entire genre, like
Yeah.
it's unreal. But
yeah. I mean, we hold it warrants our on our pedestal. And I think that's holds true for, I mean, us, Guru, Brian, all these guys. Everybody loves
Yeah,
them.
Crash Course, all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I think we're, as knowledgeable as anybody on this stuff, so we should know what's good.
yeah,
So why people would ever shit on Warrant, because they did nothing but, it's kind of like Nickelback. People shit on Nickelback. I don't get it, but whatever. But same thing. He probably's a Nickelback hater, but that's all right. But they just write good songs, so I don't know why there would be any hate. So
Exactly. You guys rock, man.
thanks
all
for
right.
being on.
Thanks for being on. We're gonna wrap it up. We had a great fucking time.
Yeah, I think
Patrick.
we're 2-hour episode on this one.
Yeah, but it's great.
Yeah,
There's a lot of nuggets in here, and people are going to really enjoy it.
no doubt.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's Rock Resurgence Radio. Keep the volume cranked, the fist pumping, and the spirit of rock and roll alive. We'll be back next week with more Sonic Mayhem. Until then, stay loud, stay proud, and keep fucking rocking.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
watching.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed our content. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We'd greatly appreciate it. Links to everything we discussed will be included in episode notes. Feel free to check those out as well. Until next time, stay golden, Pony Boy, and rock on.